we have arrived at our Watchtower Games event. We are going to be playing in the special charity event. This is the Modern 2015 event. Of course, this one's super cool because you can only use cards that were legal in Modern up to 2015. Specifically, the cutoff is Magic Origins. So that means that any cards that came out after that, which includes the Kaladesh block, things like Fatal Push and stuff like that, are not legal in the format. But things like Splinter Twin, Summer Bloom, those cards still legal at the time. So it's gonna be really interesting to see what sort of decks people play. I, of course, am piloting my Infect deck. You know, it was one of those decks that when I heard about the event and found out that this was happening, I was like, well, that was when I was grinding so much. Like, I know that my deck lists are somewhere online, and so I did some searching, found my list that I made 10th place at an SCG event utilizing Infect, and this was also the same deck that we were able to win a GP trial, which let us get 2 buys at a GP. We went and made day 2 of a GP with the Infect list. So like, I was like, of course, we're gonna play this. I decided to do a little tweaking, a little changing from the list that you guys got to see. We are not using Sylvan Scrying in the main board anymore, but pretty much more or less the stock list is there. We've got a good idea of what we're gonna be piloting. The only deck that I'm really nervous and worried about is Jund. Jund is just, it's so good in 2015. Like, even though Fatal Push didn't exist, you had access to Lightning Bolt, you had access to Abrupt Decay, and you had access to Terminate. And at the time, we had Apostle's Blessing and Vines of Vastwood as our 2 protection spells, and that's it. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the event goes. We've got our filming equipment, so we're going to go through and just do a little bit of filming for the event. But let's take a look and see what the event is like. Okay, we've made it to the event, but we found out we have to do it old school. We have to have the paper deck list. So we're in the process. Luckily, we have it all on Moxfield. If you guys haven't seen, all of our videos for the decks that we do have Moxfield links, so you can be able to find out the decks that we're using. So luckily, mine is already on Moxfield, so I just have to go through. I don't have to sit here and lay it all out on paper like maybe a lot of other players have to do. So we're going to go through real quick and do that. But we were able to get everything set up for the streaming stuff. We'll show you guys a little bit of what that looks like. The lighting we got to fix in here, but overall it's looking pretty good to start the event. Apparently there's going to be like 30-some players that are going to be coming and playing in the event. So I'm really excited to see what that's like and kind of get used to the 2015 scene and kind of learn about some of the decks that players are bringing for the event. Okay, so we are at the event. We are in this back room over here. A lot of the players are getting themselves set up and ready to go. So we want to show you guys a little bit of what that looks like here. Like, a lot of space to be able to game. We've got this side of the room is just for the modern players that are going to be playing in the event. There's some One Piece, there's some tabletop stuff going on, so there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. But let's show you guys a little bit of what we've got set up in here. So this is going to be our feature match area. We were able to get everything all set up, get the lighting adjusted because they have cool mood lighting that you could be able to do, like LED stuff. But we were debating about how many players we wanted to be able to do, whether it's going to be 2 or just 1 for the feature match area. And also, I think it's going to depend on how many rounds the event is. But very excited to kind of get into it and get things going with the event. We did get our paper deck list all written out. Going to be rocking out with Infect. I was hearing some rumors that some of the players are going to be rocking out with like some Delver and things like that. So we'll show you guys a little bit more about what the event is like once we get started soon. Okay, so round 2 is underway. I'm done with round 2 because I'm playing an aggro deck, and it makes it very easy for me to be able to do this in between stuff and talk to you a little bit. We are currently 2-0 with Infect. We played against a Naya Zoo aggro deck in round 1, and then we played against Is It Twin round 2. So very fun, had a blast, got to get the W's. Now let's kind of show you a little bit of what round 2 is looking like with all the players, because there's about 30 players that are here at the event today. So we've got our feature match area. And then we've got this whole area is set up for all the players playing in the event itself. Of course, you see my spot there, the 7th table currently. But yeah, there's a lot of really good decks that are playing and sweet cards that a lot of players haven't played or casted in a long time, which is awesome to be able to see. So you got to be able to like interact with different decks and different cards that you're not used to being able to see. So like, you know, people are playing old school cards. There's some Lantern Control. There's some players that are playing some different Tron variations. There's some Jun. There's some Twin. There's some, you know, Merfolk stuff. Like, it's definitely an awesome event. And of course, it's also for charity too. So that's also one of the benefits here, is that, you know, the shop itself is able to get so many great players out to play in such a fun format. Players also came out that haven't played in a long time. They're like, oh, I haven't played in years. I've only been playing Commander and stuff like that up until now, and now they're coming out and playing in such a fun format there. So that's going to be it for this round for now. We'll keep you guys up to date about how things are going with the event in the next little update.
So the event itself was hosted at Watchtower Games. We see a little bit of the footage now from it, but the event was run and kind of organized by Sears. He helped put everything on, brought 36 different decks that players could be able to kind of loan out and play for the event. So, you know, amazing event. It turns out that we ended up raising $350 for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, which is awesome to be able to see here. So,
okay, round 3 is done. I'm hanging out in the feature match area right now. And you can see there is nobody in the feature match area. That's because we were sitting at the first seed and got to go and play on camera. And it was Infect, 2015 Infect specifically, versus Tron, which as soon as I found that out, I was super giddy. Tron and Ad Nauseam were like the two decks that I'm like, yeah, I will play those decks any day of the week, because it is such a easy matchup for Infect. The decks were so much slower. They didn't have the ways to interact like they do now in current meta. Like, there's a lot more tools at the disposal, and decks can go so much faster nowadays, but back then that wasn't the case. So we got the quick 2-0 victory there. We're sitting 3-0 in the tournament. There's 5 rounds in the cut to top 8 here. So very excited for how things are going. Of course, there's, you know, 2 more rounds to go. You know, we're going to keep showcasing many different decks on the stream itself. Well, not really stream, right? Because they're all edited up for you guys to be able to enjoy, but lots of good stuff so far in the event. Lots of matches still underway because, you know, our match ended so quick. So a lot of games to showcase. So we'll kind of do a quick walk around so you can see a little bit of what's going on here for the event itself. Like, a lot of cool decks. I was worried. It looks like there's at least one Jun player running around, but a lot of like blue-based decks, whether it's like Twin, whether it's like control shells, things like that. There's at least one Lantern Control player. So I'm, you know, going to try to showcase as many different decks as possible for the edited videos, which, you know, you probably have started to come out at this point in time, or will be coming out soon. We've had some hate bears on stream. You know, we've had some sort of like lantern-y style of control shells, some like Squadron Hawk stuff. So a lot of cool stuff to be able to see. It looks like Mono Black Devotion. So yeah, definitely some cool things that we're going to be showing off on the channel for you guys to be able to enjoy. But it's awesome to be able to go and travel to another LGS and have this space to be able to record. So big shout out to Watchtower Games for letting me be able to do some of the recording. Of course, we're also going to have the top 8. So lots of this modern 2015 content that's going to be coming out, in addition to our normal content that we do on the channel. So make sure you guys are checking all that stuff out, because we do have our present and current modern format that we showcase off. But let's jump into it and see what the rest of the tournament has in store, and can we actually make it to the top 8 or not. Okay, final round of the Sears charity event. We've got quite a few players in, just battling it out, still grinding it out with some really fun decks.
It was so interesting to go through and see the decks people were playing. You know, there was probably about 4 different twin players, 3 different Tron players, you know, and then the sprinklings of like one-ofs. I brought an Infect. I think I saw one other player that borrowed an Infect deck for the event. But, you know, the removal that's available in this format is so interesting because it really is Lightning Bolts, Path to Exiles, and that's really it. I mean, there's a couple of other things you could do, Electrolyze and things like that, but like Fatal Push doesn't exist in the format, so the amount of removal becomes very, very difficult. That's where like things like Terminate and, you know, Abrupt Decays and things like that, and those Jund shells are really powerful, but not much Jund going around.
We ended up with our final record of going 3-1-1, so that's enough for 10 points, which should be enough to lock us in with the top 8. I drew with my final opponent there to kind of just sort of lock it in. Let's just jump into the top 8, and then I get to do a little bit more filming and talking with you guys about things. There's at least first place player that I lost to ended up drawing as well, so that's at least 4 players that we know. Second place players, I believe, have a good chance of both of them getting in. They're playing it out though. And then that leaves basically one other player essentially could be getting in there with the top 8. And so basically the players that are at seat 4 and seat 5 have to play it out because they could still make it in. Point-wise, if they win, they're sitting there at that 7 to 9 points, which is enough to just jump them into the top 8. So we'll see how it works out with it. But we did it. We did the thing. Our goal of getting to the top 8 was successful here. So still really excited to see what the rest of the top 8 looks like, because we will be also recording that up for you guys to be able to enjoy on the channel.
Players, that is it for the Swiss. Thank you for coming. Our top 8 should just have their new rounds populated for the semifinals. Good luck in the semifinals. Thank you everyone else for coming out.
We are in the grind, and I say we're in the grind because we are in the top 8 and we just won the quarterfinals against a Grixis Delver player. Super grindy match, a lot of removal that we got to fight through to be able to battle it out. We were able to get very lucky. My opponent had to mulligan down to 5 game 1, 6 game 2, and got held up on lands in game 2, and we just kind of were able to rely on Blighted Agent both games. Wild Defiance, super helpful, helped speed up our win there. So making it to the semifinals now, lots of games still going on, but in fact, Gataxian Pro, great cards. I'm having a blast. It's been so much fun to be able to come out and be able to record up and play a format that is so near and dear to my heart because it's modern, but it's like when I was grinding and playing in tournaments and doing stuff like that. So definitely having a ton of fun. We'll see if we can make it to the finals though. I'm not sure what we're up against next round and how it's going to look. I hope I can dodge the Martyr of Sands player again. It's possible. Maybe I'll get lucky. I know there's at least one of the Tron players that's still in the top 8. So I know there's Tron. I know there's Martyr of Sands. I know that there is a Scape Shift list. So there's a couple other, but those are the ones that I know of for sure that are still battling it out here. So let's see what the rest of the top 8 has in store for us.
I had you the turn before, and I drew another Scape Shift, and then off the remand, I got the mountain I needed. Like, literally, I had it the turn before, and I drew it in reverse. I was like, why me? And I had to use both pieces of counter magic, or I'm getting blown out by.
Yep. I had it in the hand, I was just trying to find the thread of the needle.
And that last turn, I drew the second mountain I needed to not draw. I'm like, okay, well now I'm dead. I had to have the Scape Shift then.
Oh, man.
All right, end of the night. 8:38, finals just concluded. We just finished cleaning up inside of here. I made top 4, so very exciting, very happy with how that went. Ended up losing to Twin, and the player that I lost to ended up taking the whole thing in Twin versus Scape Ship finals. So I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of behind the scenes footage of the event itself, all of the gameplay stuff that we recorded up for the day. So that was 5 rounds of the regular event, and then of course the top 8 stuff. You guys can be able to see those on the channel as well, as we're gonna start sprinkling those in. But Modern 2015 was such a fun
format to be able to play. I think I had the most fun playing in this event compared to any event that I've played in the last, like, you know, 2-3 years for sure. Like having, you know, one of the players described it as like the 2015 meta and format is a lot more of like a chess match of we're going to kind of do these integral little moves here and set ourselves up for success, where the current modern is a lot of just, I'm building a bomb and I'm gonna blow it up and you're gonna die, all right? It's like, it's very different, but very cool to see. I will definitely be putting together a couple of decks, probably classic Jund, probably the twin deck. We'll probably put together the Goryo's deck from back in the day. So a lot of cool decks that I want to start playing with and playing more of. It sounds like the event went so well because there was 30-some players. They might start doing this a little bit more often, maybe once a month, as well as kind of maybe doing a invitational thing, which you guys know that's where we kind of started our modern content, was doing invitationals back in the day. So that might be something that you're going to see a little bit more of on the channel. We'll see how it goes. But what do you guys think about the modern 2015 format? What deck would you have played if you came to the event, or if you did come to the event, what deck did you play and did you enjoy the event? Let me know, leave a comment down below, but that's gonna be it for this. Thanks so much for tuning and watching, y'all, and I'll see you all next game.